Thank you for staying tuned, and this is still Spotlight with Mercy on Kaftan Television. I am being joined by Ambassador Samuel Danjuma, who is the Central Zonal Coordinator, Progressive APC Awareness Forum. He joins me live in the studio this evening to help us make sense out of the 2024 and the 2025 budgets. It's good to have you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
You're looking this new year, the way you're... Meanwhile, before at least I forget, Happy New Year. It's been a minute that last saw you.
Wish you the same.
This government is really, your government is really, you know, you're looking like the 2025 already.
Because the beauty of it is that I told you this the last time I was here, that the next time you see me, there'll be smiles on the faces of Nigerians because the Bola Tinubu administration really means well, and it's already putting smiles on the face of Nigerians. Things are beginning to improve, and as the year goes, as we begin to go into the year,
how many people have you reached out to see that there are really smiles? There are
smiles on the face of Nigerians.
But I'm not smiling. How come I'm not smiling?
You were smiling before now. You just stopped smiling because you want to make a point. But the fact is, you are happy. You can see it. You can't hide it. When you see good things, you have to celebrate. We are trying. The government is really working, and Nigerians are smiling now.
Well, Nigerians will get to speak with Nigerians this evening and let them decide and let them also contribute and see how well your government and your people is trying. But then, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's get talking. We cannot talk about the performance of the 2025 budget without, without taking a look at the previous budget. Now, looking at the national 2024 budget, National Assembly has evaluated it and see that the 2025 budget underperformed. And when we say underperformed, it means horribly. It did so bad. Now, looking at the 2025 budget, which is before the National Assembly for consideration and approval, what is your thoughts or what is your take in all of this?
I think it's high time Nigerians begin to take responsibility for, most especially those of our National Assembly members begin to take responsibility for the reasons why they are there in the first place. What are their functions? Their functions are oversight functions. And if someone who is supposed to be like a watchdog is now coming to say what he was supposed to then watch over is not performing well, then we should be asking them what oversight functions did they actually carry out, because they're supposed to go to have engagement with departments and agencies of government to know how they actually if they actually got funded, and if they did, and how are they spending what got to them. So I think they shot themselves in the leg by that statement. The National Assembly should look inward and ask themselves this question: did they actually carry out their oversight function? We shouldn't blame the executive for this. The executive actually came up with the budget, presented to the National Assembly. The National Assembly did their normal assignment and passed the budget and gave it back to the president for assent. So if the budget is not performing well, which we should be asking the National Assembly the same question: did you actually carry out your oversight function? And if you did, then we wouldn't have been complaining that the budget did not perform to the expected our expected target. So the National Assembly should be asked that question, not coming out to now paint the executive in the bad light.
So you think, okay, viewers, at this point, right away, our phone lines are open for you to call in to join the conversation. If this budget you're talking about, do you know? Let me give you a breakdown of it. The budget performance, according to reports, was about overall of the performance was of 43%. Now, the current expenditure was at 100%. Performed very well, but the capital expenditure only performed 25%. So how do you blame the legislature?
No, this is exactly what I'm still saying. The recurrent, which has to do with staff salaries and the rest of them, did excellently well, because even in 2024 there was salary increment.
So who approves that, or rather who releases that of the civil servant, which did actually very well?
Every forms of government, every forms of government is released from the Ministry of Finance, right? And which was done. That's why I said the National Assembly should be asked. If you were supposed to carry out oversight functions for capital projects, and the question what they were supposed to tell us is funds were not released as at when done, or funds were released, the agencies or the ministries, departments of government did not carry out the normal functions they're supposed to. That's what they should be telling us, not telling us that it underperformed. They are to carry out oversight functions, and part of the oversight functions is to be sure that funds were actually released to those agencies, the funds that were budgeted for those projects were released. And if it was, then what did those people who were saddled with the responsibility of carrying out those assignments, did they actually do? This is still the duty of the National Assembly. So if the budget underperformed, the National Assembly should be held responsible.
So how come the capital expenditure, which is meant for human capital development, to talk about infrastructure, education, job creation, and the rest of it, how come it performed so poor? Why that of current expenditure performed at 100%? You know,
it's fixed. Payments of salaries are
villas
fixed.
are renovated, cars are bought, and how come it's 100%?
Now, when you talk about renovation of villa and cars being bought, those are not recurrent expenditure. Recurrent expenditure basically has to do with what do you call it? Salaries and the rest of it. It's fixed.
Salaries of who?
Salaries of workers of Nigeria. Even the salaries of National Assembly members are part of the recurrent expenditure. So that's why I said the ball, when it comes to this, still goes back. They can't excuse themselves of the budget, from the budget not performing to optimum performance. It's still the duty of the National Assembly to carry out oversight functions. Like I said earlier, the executive from the Ministry of Finance release those funds to those agencies, to the Ministry of Works, to the Ministry of Education, to the Ministry of Health, and the rest of them. If yes, then what did the ministers in those ministries actually do with those funds that were released to them? This still boils back to the oversight functions of the National Assembly. So the National Assembly cannot, there's no way they will be able to excuse themselves of this. No, it's like when you do not do what you're supposed to do, you're looking for how to do the blame game thing. It still stops at their table. They are supposed to carry out oversight functions. That's why they're there. If you ask them, they'll tell you they needed to buy the SUVs for them because they had to move around to carry out the oversight functions. So what were they going to with it? So we should still blame them. What did they do? Because everything was provided for them. Their salaries were paid, their allowances were paid, they were given tools to work. So what did they do?
That's interesting. Okay then, so if it's to be a blame game, we should blame the National Assembly and not the executive.
We should be blaming the National Assembly because the National Assembly did not carry out their oversight functions. If they actually carried out their oversight functions, what they should be telling us now is, Nigerians, we budgeted XYZ for social ministry, it was released 100%, but the minister did not function, or it was not released, we should hold the executive for that. It's not for them. It would have been understandable if they had come to say federal government did not release the money to those agencies. We would have understood that the executive did not. But that's not what they are saying. They are only saying it did not. So what happened? Why didn't it function as expected? So previously, it has always been, the budget has always performed 43. I think I've not had the budget perform 100% ever since in the return to democracy. So it's not new. But what I'm saying,
what budget at least should it perform for a proper and a transparency in government? At what level do you think it should perform we should be seeing
70, 75%, 80% performance, 90% performance? Yes, we might not have 100% performance, but at least from 70% upward, we should be clapping and saying the budget has performed excellently well. But from their own point of view, they are saying it's about 43%. It goes back to them. What are they doing? Are they actually carrying out their oversight function, or they're just sitting there in the National Assembly and clapping on your mandate, we shall stand? No. It's time for them to go to work. They are there to work, not to come and sing for National Assembly, to sing for Nigerians. The reason why they are there is to carry out oversight functions. They are to speak for the people. They are to represent the people. They are to make laws. And if they have passed the budget and the budget has been assented to, their work don't stop there. Their work is also to follow through, to see to it that funds were actually released, and the funds that were released, the agencies of government actually carried out the program and the projects that were on that budget. So it's the board. We still have to blame them for it, not for them coming to blame the executive. It's not the time for blame game.
Okay, so what happens to the part where the executive came out and had to do a reshuffle of reshuffle the cabinet and the ministries and all that, because according to the executive, some ministers, some ministries aren't performing, so that's why they had to, relieve them of their duties and the rest of. So what happens to that aspect? Does it mean that the executive was unable to notice that?
No. Nigerians yearn for it. This shows that this administration is a listening one. The president listens to the yearning and the aspirations of Nigerians. Nigerians yearn for a cabinet reshufflement, pointing out some loopholes in the president's cabinet, and he saw reasons with Nigerians and acted swiftly. That's why I said the National Assembly also have to act. If the National Assembly feels there's an agency of government that was underfunded, then we can understand. That's not what they're saying. Are they saying that they were underfunded? If they were underfunded, now have they asked the executive why those agencies were underfunded? Is it that the budget that was passed, there was no cash backing? We should understand. They shouldn't just come and give us a blanket statement. They should tell Nigerians that we are there to represent us. They are there to speak for Nigerians. They should come out to tell Nigerians, we budgeted XYZ for social ministry. The ministry was underfunded, and that's why this budget underperformed. But if until then the ball stops. They are supposed to carry out oversight functions. Did they carry out the oversight functions? That is the question.
That's interesting. Okay, now let's leave the past to be in the past. Let's talk about the future. I had to bring it up because we cannot talk about the future without evaluating how we've gone, or how the past has been. So the performance of the 2024 budget, which is incredibly poor, what is the guarantee that of 2025 would perform? Because we know we have one problem in this country. We have problem of always creating law, making law without implementation. So now, what is the guarantee that the 2025 budget will perform to prevent a recurrence of what happened in 2024 budget?
That's why we have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The executive formulates the law, the judiciary passes the law. The executive prepares the bill, the legislature formulates and passes the law, the judiciary interprets the law. These, as every of them, have their separate functions. Now, it's one thing for the National Assembly to pass the budget. It's another thing for the president to assent to it. Then when the president assents to it, the National Assembly comes back again to work. And that's when they carry out the oversight function. So if they are beginning to say at this point that the 2024 budget did not perform to their expectation, it's time for them to now sit up in 2025 to make sure, to find out, was it that the ministries were underfunded? Exactly what I said before. Were they underfunded? If they were underfunded, then it's time to tell the executive to fund those ministries and those agencies more. Then, if it was that the ministries were funded and the ministries did not perform, then they should also find out why did the ministries not perform, and those in positions should be held responsible for underperforming. And there should be a report to the president that XYZ minister did not perform even after getting the needed money from the budget to carry out those assignments. And such people should be showed the way out. Like I said, in this year, it is time for Nigerians to take responsibility. If you're given an assignment, go out there and carry out your assignment for the betterment of the people of Nigeria. We, the citizens, are watching. We are more informed than we were before now. We know things that we did not know before now, and we'll be asking questions as the time goes by. So, if it did not function, if 2024 did not perform well, this is the right time. This is January in 2025. So, everybody should sit up and carry out whatever assignment is given to them. The National Assembly should visit those ministries, should visit those agencies of government time to time to find out how they're doing. Did they get the fundings? If they did not, they should liaise with the executive to make sure that funds are released to those agencies. And if they got the funding, they should also once in a while visit those sites, find out if the contractors are doing what we actually, the assignment that was actually given out to them. Also check the contract processes, if the process of awarding those contracts where the agencies are also who are saddled with the responsibility of awarding of contract, to be sure that they follow due process. We have the BPP and the rest of it. Everybody should sit up this time around. Nigerian belongs to all of us. Nigerian, it's our own. We should take responsibility and come up and give a Nigeria, and build a Nigeria that every Nigerian will be proud to be a Nigeria.
And that's interesting. I love that part where every Nigerian would be proud to be a Nigerian. But then you try to put so much blame on the legislator, but the executive. This current administration, when it came into power, told us categorically that he's aware of all the potholes that's been created. And now, this administration described its, cabinet as steam, which boils down to fall back to the president, who happens to be the head of both the legislature, the ministries, agencies, and the rest of it. And he appointed these people. So now, since the work of the legislature is to, go on oversight functions and the rest of what role do you think the executive should play in this? Apart from assenting,
I'm not excusing the executive.
Hold on. Apart from the president assenting on the bill, what other role do you think he should play to, ensure that this current budget performs? Now,
like I said earlier, I'm not excusing the executive of its own fault, but I'm saying, what is the executive supposed to do? The executive is supposed to release funds to those agencies of government. This administration has someone, former minister, former chairman of MPA, Nigerian Port Authority, I think Ajay Adiza, who is in charge of the monitoring of agencies and parastatals to see how they perform and the rest of them. So government has actually put in the mechanism to checkmate agencies and ministries and agencies of government, which will guide them to perform. What the executive is supposed to do is to release those funds to them. And when they release those funds, it's now, you see, there's what we call separation of power. The president cannot be everywhere at the same time. And that's why the president has ministers. And the ministers are supposed to be the face of the president in those agencies and in those ministries where they head sway. So it's expected, like I said earlier, everyone should get all hands on deck. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Let's do what we need to do. The executive should release the funds as at when due to all these agencies, ministries and agencies of government to be able to carry out their plans and program for the year. Early enough, I'm not sure the 2025 budget has been funds has been released yet, but as soon as it's passed and the president assents to it, the funds should be released immediately so that those agencies will begin to work. Then when the funds are released, the National Assembly should get back to work and carry out their oversight functions and checkmate to be able to be sure, put these guys on their toe to see that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do. It's a team, yes. They all have to come together. They swore to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to better the lot of the people of Nigeria, and it's expected of them that they should do what they are supposed to do for the betterment of all Nigerians, notwithstanding the tribe, notwithstanding the religion, notwithstanding the region, but all Nigerians should be able to be proud to be called Nigerians at the end of the day.
Okay. So, but then I want to get clearly, do you think the underperformance of the 2024 budget will affect that of the 2025? Because we haven't even seen any case where the budget even performed well enough. So, what's the guarantee that this time?
That's why I said it's the first thing is we're hearing this early enough in the year that 2024 budget did not perform well, and it's time for those who are supposed to carry out those functions to sit up and say, the executive, release the funds. The legislature, go about your oversight function to make sure that the funds got to these people and they actually do what it was meant for. And at the end of the year, we will not be saying the same story that the budget did not perform. The budget will not perform if those who are supposed to carry out what they are supposed to carry out did not to carry out their functions. Executive is meant to release the funds. Executive will still release the funds as at when due. National Assembly carry out oversight functions, and also we should also not just blame the executive. We should also think about availability of those funds to the federal government. We can see that the federal government has done everything, is doing everything possible to see how they can close.
But then are these funds not available?
How to close other loopholes and make sure that they bring in more funds into the system. You can see the front and back with the tax bill. The tax bill is to also help Nigeria get more funds to be able to carry out the functions of government that is needed. So we should support the National Assembly should support the federal, the executive to see to it that the tax bill, the reform bill, sees the light of the day. This will also help in bringing in more funds that will be used to better the lots of Nigeria. We could see that the removal of fuel subsidy, yes, it was hard, it was difficult, it was painful on Nigerians, but we're beginning to see the dividends of removal of that fuel subsidy because things are beginning to stabilize. More funds go to states begin, more funds was available for states to do, carry out their programs and their projects and the projects. Federal government, well, I think it gave there was enough money for some of those programs that Nigerians have been yearning for. So we should look at it holistically. Availability of funds, executive relief funds at when due, National Assembly carry out to oversight function, and at the end of the year, we'll be able to say yes, the 2025 budget performed optimally well.
I want to understand clearly what you mean when you mention availability of funds. Do you think, don't you to an extent you think Nigerians don't have, or Nigeria government don't have this fund?
I'm not saying we don't. We have funds, but every other day the need for this resource, the need for the resources we have is increasing. The budget of this year is higher than the budget of last year. That shows that there are more things that need to be done to better the loss of Nigeria. There are lots of programs that need to come up that will ease the pain of the president's administration's reforms on Nigeria, with the award of 100 billion for infrastructural development, and the what do you call it? For infrastructural development, the safety, a lot of safety are coming up. So there are a lot of things that this government is doing to ease the pain on Nigerians due to the reforms that are going on, and this is capital intensive. So we need more funds to be able to carry out some of the funds for budgets are projected funds. It's not that they are available. They are telling you that if these are XYZ is put in place, these funds will be available to carry out this project. And there's also PPP and the rest of them. So certainly it's not that there are no funds. There are funds, but the need for those funds are increasing as the day goes by, and we need to make more money so that we have enough to carry out those programs and policy of government.
We can agree that the needs of those funds are growing day by day, but then we need to feel the in part, or be the government needs to account to at least what the ones that have been available, like the minister Wale Edun told us a time ago that 20 is a billion or $1 million has been saved from fuel subsidy removal. But now the question, according to the headline today, during accountability, they had to go on closed door. But the question on the lip of every Nigerian is the 20 billion or $1 million that has been saved from subsidy. Where has it gone into exactly?
These funds, we all know that from the event of this administration and the removal of fuel subsidy, funds that are going to state has tripled from what it used to be before the event of this administration. So part of the funds that were recovered from the removal of subsidy has also been, that's why I've always said that it's time for Nigerians to start asking their state governors, what are they doing with their funds? My own state is doing excellently well. I'm from Kogi State. My governor is doing excellently well with the extra funds that is getting. Salaries are being paid as when due. Projects are going on here and then. Kogi State, the security in Kogi State has improved because a lot of investment has gone into security. As of yesterday, he has set up the livestock ministry. Also, is a new creation in Kogi State. Also, we now have Ministry of Livestock, and the rest of them. He has invested a lot in agriculture to better the loss of the. So other states should begin to ask their governor, what are they doing? Most of the funds it has increased, the allocations to states has increased. Then we have all the safety nets and the rest of them, the social welfares and the rest of them, the palliative, reduction in transport fares and all the rest of them. Reduction in transport fares. The government has come up with buses and CNG buses and the rest of them to reduce the cost of transportation. You saw throughout the festive season, the president declared that all the train stations in the country should carry Nigerians free of charge without taking a dime from them. These are all the things that the government is doing to ease the lot of the people. So these are all fronts that they have been able to accrue from the removal of subsidy. And like I told you, for the first time, our budget is higher than what it was last year because there are more funds to carry out some of these projects of government. So this is where this money is going, but the money is going back into creating jobs, creating jobs, providing security, and bettering the lots of the people. So Nigerians are beginning to feel a sense of relief as the day goes by. So certainly the funds are going back into the system.
Okay, but I tend to disagree with the part where you said our budget, this is the first time our budget is seeing increase. The budget has always seen increase year in, year out. So, but then, now, one of the major focus of the 2025 budget is defense, which is the security. But lately, we've woken up to, let's say, I'm trying to be mindful with my words. We've woken up to sad development of killings, abduction, and as of today, there is one happened in Castina. Okay, so now, when I was on the show in the morning, I said this. I hope this is not beginning to look like the Boko Haram era, because where Nigerians go to sleep with with one eye closed and one eye open. So, but then security, talking about security, what we're seeing lately is beginning to look like, God forbid. So, what do you think the government should do in strengthening our security?
The government has done a lot in its 18 or 19 months of being in power. The government has done a lot in seeing to it that they improve security.
Ambassador, give me a moment. We have a caller here. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening, if you can hear me.
Good evening, how are you? Fine, how are you? How work?
Very well, thank you.
My name is Peter from Taraba State, Council Local. I was hearing you in news. We are talking about the budget of this, the budget that Nigeria have made it. But they are talking about the money is involved in security. But we see nothing in the ground, and we see how Boko Haram are doing everything, and everywhere you see kidnapping, and we cannot see that the money that they are saying that they invest in security, we are not seeing in the ground.
Okay.
Hello?
All right, I can hear you. I can hear you.
And now we are seeing that the budget that they have made, the budget that they are using this and we are not seeing the ground now. This the government is now, they are just saying it, but they are not doing it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yes, thank you.
Now, government is everybody, security is everybody's business. It's not just the government alone. I've always said it that when you see something, you say something, and the rest of them. The same man who called from Taraba will remember that before the event of this government in Taraba, there were communal clashes, they had Fulani herdsmen and the rest of them. And in the past 1 year, that has reduced to the minimum. So the thing is, the government is doing a lot. This government is doing a lot in terms of security to see to it that Nigerians could close their eyes and close their two eyes to sleep at night. We could see throughout the festive season. Before now, we know what festive season needs to be in this country. But throughout the festive season, there was relatively peace. And the government is doing more on a daily basis. You know, before now, these were not the security situation that were peculiar with this part of the world. This has to do with a lot of because of our porous borders and the rest of them. We have influx of people from the Sahel coming in to cause harm and cause mayhem in the country and the rest of them. And the government is not sleeping. The government is on its heels, working night and day. The chief of defense staff, the NSA, the rest of them, the IG of police, everybody are doing everything possible to curtail the issue of insecurity. And it is improving as the day goes by, and we need more funding, and that's why you could see that there's more funding that directed to that department of government, to see that throughout the year, as the year goes by, more of we have more of technology that will be able to fight artificial intelligence that will be able to fight most of the security challenges we're having in the country. So the government, when somebody say that there's nothing on ground, I think it's just been naive or is less informed about what government is doing. Government is actually doing a lot, and that's why I've always advocated, whenever I have the opportunity to be on national TV, that those who are speaking for the government should do more of enlightenment, do more of conversing with the people. Let people actually know what government is doing. I've said it repeatedly that you can break it into languages in the country. Let people understand from their local dialect that this is what government is doing to better their lot when it comes to security. This is what government is doing to better their lot when it comes to agriculture. This is what government is doing to better their lot when it comes to education and when it comes to health and the rest of them. Now, this government has said all government hospitals, that's general hospitals, should carry out cesarean operations for mothers who want to give birth free of charge, which has not been said of before. So there are a lot government is doing. I think what the missing link is, there's no communication between government and the people, and that's why I've always advocated, whenever I have the opportunity, like I said earlier, those who speak for government to do more of engaging the people. The National Orientation Agency should talk more to the people. The Ministry of Information should do more talking of the people. The government, the president's spokespersons should be more on TV stations and on radio stations, speaking the language and the dialect that people understand, telling them what government is actually doing to better their lot. By so doing, because when people don't actually know what is happening, there's every tendency for them to react in the negative way. So government is doing a lot when it comes to security, and the security of Nigeria is improving. The president is not playing with the security architecture. He's galvanizing it day in, day out. And a lot. We can see a lot of rescue operation going on. One happened a few days ago in Benue, where the police anti-kidnapping team in Benue were able to rescue some kidnapped victims and neutralize some of the kidnappers. You could see the issue in Katsina also, the same Katsina you talked about. They neutralized some bandits and their commanders and the rest of them just a week ago. So government is doing a lot. People who are supposed to speak to the people should wake up and start doing them. Like I said earlier, everybody should put all hands on deck and work for the betterment of this country. We have no other country, so that Nigerians will be proud to be called Nigerians at the end of the day.
Okay, I love the fact that you made it clear that our borders are quite porous. Then, what should be done in that aspect? Because, like I said earlier in the on the morning show, most of these people who cause this havoc are majorly from neighboring countries. You talk of Burkina Faso, you talk of Chad, you talk of Mali and Niger Republic. So now, Chad. Yeah. So of course they have access and easy movement all the way from the other border to Nigerian border without being checked, without any question and all that. So they have a way of penetrating. So, but now, and looking at when it comes to that of Niger, I think it's about 1,900 and something kilometers with that of Nigerian border. So what do you think should be done in that aspect? Because to me, I feel like if our borders are not being properly checked, or if nothing is being done, these people always find their way back. And that's why I say security is everyone's business. When you see something, you say something. You know why it's a bit difficult to man our borders is there's a picture I saw. Someone's room, part of his room was in another country, and one in the far north, and the other room was in Nigeria. So, because what am I trying to say here? Our borders, there are villages that you might not even know if they are Nigeria or they are in Niger or they are in Chad. So it's Nigerians now should watch. Security is everybody's business. When you see influx of strangers that you don't understand, you don't know them, speak out. Tell the authorities, we noticed so number XYZ got in from this place, and we don't know what their missions are in this place in the first place. Government will now intervene and find out what were they doing there, what did they come to do, and the rest of them. So it's an age-long thing. We have lived with these people so many years, and we have intermarried, we have been interrelated with each other. But it's time, when you see what is wrong, speak up. Tell governments are the security agencies are no wizards. They are humans like you too, but they are only going to be able to perform to optimum performance when they have the needed information to carry out. So when you see things like that, say it. I've always said that there's no how you have influx of people in a place that you will not notice, because even the commerce of that place will improve. So you should be able to know that there are new people in this place. What are they doing here? What is their mission? If you are the landlord giving a house out to somebody, find out what does he do, what kind of job is he doing. If you are the neighbor, find out when does he come, when does he leave, what time of the day, and all that. I didn't say you should go and start knocking people's door, but you should be able to have this local intelligence whereby you know this person is doing XYZ, this person he doesn't relate to people, he doesn't interact with people. Then you should be able to find out, dig further, what is this person's mission in this place and where did he come from. So security is everybody's business. Government is doing what they needed to do. Government is doing a lot of intelligence gathering. Government is buying a lot of sophisticated equipment to equip our security agencies. We also have our role to play by speaking up, and government also should the security agencies also should make it easy for people to be able to assess them and tell them when they see things that are happening around their vicinity. All right. Hello, good evening. Do me a favor by please, when you call in, do me a favor by turning down the volume of your TV set to enable us hear you properly. So, but then this security, it seems to be, this is a matter of urgency, because with what we've seen happen recently in the last few days, now according to reports, we are in the 10th day of 2025, just 10 days, and in 8 days about 242 people have died in 8 days. So you see that it's not just about, okay, security is everybody's job. It's now like a matter of urgency. It needs urgent attention. And yeah, we've seen the partnership and collaboration between the Nigerian military and that of China. But as a matter that requires urgent attention, what do you think? Because losing 242 people in 8 days is a lot.
That's why I'm saying it's everybody.
Please give me a moment. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, John.
Good evening. Glad to have you on the show. Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Okia Theophilos. I'm calling from Delta State.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Is it one of the... Is it the network that is talking about security and the implementation of budget?
Mm.
Is it?
Is it what?
Is it the network that is talking about the implementation of budget and the security of the nation?
Which network? Kaftan network?
Kaftan, yes.
Yes, please.
I wanted to speak to that man that is in the...
Yeah, he's hearing you. He's hearing you. He
Is he hearing me?
Yes, he is.
Because I've just gone out of this so that I will not disturb.
Okay, no, please go ahead.
I just want to really know, is he talking of Nigeria in terms of implementation of the budget? Or is he talking of Nigeria in separating the presidency, the judiciary, and the legislators?
Okay.
I just want to know, because I see in Nigeria that these things are not functional.
Mm.
It's the president that overrule everything.
Okay.
In the affairs of leadership in Nigeria, the president alone takes up. That is the president, the governor, the local government chairman. They are the only people that takes care of things concerning their own affairs.
Okay.
The legislator and the judiciary, they are silent. They are not doing anything. It's only the words the executive, the presidency are saying that they are talking about. It's not what they say. Because the implementation of a truth in other countries, the implementation of budget lies on the legislators.
Okay.
Thank you. Then the affairs of bringing out the funding or anything is of the presidency.
Okay.
Why that of the judiciary? What's going wrong? The judiciary will interpret the law and specifically tell Nigerians what exactly. But in all, it's only the presidency that takes care.
Okay.
Whatever the president says is what other part of this leadership, that is the judiciary and the legislators, it's only the president that can talk. Other ones are just silent. What president said concludes, which is not good for a country like Nigeria. As large as we are, president alone cannot decide. Like I see saying, if someone comes out, maybe he's talking about other countries, not Nigeria that he's talking about. Because Nigeria does not have such leadership. I'm sorry, that is of it. And security, if we truth it might be that security is improving. I'm not doubting it. But it's no sin. It's no sin. They might be spending money they did not know what exactly comes out. Because many people they are still where they are, the bandits, the herdsmen, and other hoodlums. They are still where they are. No difference. If they are still in that place.
All right. Please round up with your thoughts.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, ma. I can just say, so if he's saying the truth, let it be seen. Let it be seen. It's not just that Nigeria to do this. No, let it be implemented as it's supposed to be. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution and have yourself a great evening. Yeah, like I initially said, if 242 lives have been lost in just 8 days. Imagine if urgent action is not taken or are not taken. Imagine how many lives will be lost before the end of 2025. So now, as a matter of urgency, what do you think should be done? The military. Let's leave apart we know security is everybody's business individually, and so. But what do you think the military should do as fast as possible to save this situation?
If what we experience is not a guerrilla warfare, the military would have stamped out insecurity by now. And that's why I said security is everybody's business, which is when you see something, you say something, you don't just keep quiet. Now, security, internal security is supposed to be the duty of the police, not even the military. It is when the police is overpowered that the military comes to render assistance to them. External security, that's when it has to do with the borders and the sovereignty.
Ambassador, give me a moment. This person might have a question so that you can all at once. Hello, if you can hear me, good evening. Please tune down the volume of your TV set. When you do that, you can call us back, but please ensure you tune down the volume of your TV set before calling in the phone line. Please, Ambassador, go ahead. Now,
that's why I said security is everybody's business. If these guys were coming, there's a battlefield, and say, this is where we're going to meet, by now the issue of insecurity would have been stamped out in this country. But there's a lot of accomplice and a lot of compromise here and there, where people are not ready to speak up. People are sympathetic of the insurgents and the rest of them, because some of them are people they know, might be family members or relations that they are aware of, and they are scared of speaking up because there might be a reprisal attack. That's why I said the military and all the security agencies should have a woman face where people will be free to be able to come out and tell them this is this and this is that. They should have lifelines where people, free toll lines where people will be able to call and pass information to let them know. And people should also pass through information, not just bugging the security agencies with just any kind of information. I think a lot of Nigerians are not even aware that there's the app the police have, that if you tap that app here, I have it on one of my phones, if you tap that app here, it's going to send a signal to the central base, and before you know it, there's going to be a response to find out if what is happening here at that same time. I think Nigerians are not aware of it. I think the police should tell Nigerians more of this, and this app should be downloaded. There's an app that when I tap it right here in your studio, it is going to send a signal to the central base of the Nigerian police force, and to show that I'm in danger, and there's going to be a response immediately. When they get information from me, the closest police station to that place or the closest police outpost to that place will get the information, and police presence will be there immediately. So that's why I said there are a lot of things, a lot of policies and programs of governments that people are not aware of. They should need to talk more to the people about these things. Let Nigerians know, and Nigerians also should be able to speak out and say, this is what is happening in my vicinity. I saw a new face. Like me now, if I'm driving home and I see faces that I don't know around my area, I stop and I ask questions. Good evening, how are you doing? You did just move into this place? Or no, I came to see somebody. Oh, which of the house are you coming to? Okay, enjoy your stay. At least to make the person know that people are aware of the faces of strangers here. But Nigerians just feel anything goes, it's none of my business, and the minute anything happens, you begin to shout and call the security agency. I'm not excusing them, yeah, but we should also tell them that is part of intelligence gathering. We should also let them know this is what is happening, and we should not be sympathetic of evil. I've always said it, when things are not going well, because you know somebody that you keep quiet, by the time the person doesn't see anywhere to go to again, he'll come back home and begin to cause havoc back home. So people should be ready to speak up, not minding your relationship with whoever. When the person begins to do what is wrong, speak up. I have somebody in my place, when the son was a kidnapper, he came out and said it proper and plain. He went and reported, he kept reporting to government until government took action and demolished that. And when they were going to demolish that, I said, no, you can't demolish my house, because I told you there are reports in government police stations and the rest of them reporting that child, and the child was held responsibility and he paid the supreme price for his actions and his inactions. So Nigerians should be ready to speak out. Tell government, security agencies, have a woman face, have where people can relate with you, have free toll lines so people can call you and pass information. Then, like this app I said the police have, let people know about it so that people will have it on their smartphone. Most people have smartphones now. When there are dangers, even when you are being you want to be kidnapped, you can immediately tap that app. It's going to send a signal that something is happening, so there's a distress signal that there's danger somewhere, and the police will respond immediately. So there should be more of telling people what is available to help them secure themselves. So it's not it's a guerrilla warfare. If it was not the guerrilla warfare, by now the Nigerian army, which we know, who went to other countries and came out excellently well, would have stamped out insecurity by now. But they are not sleeping. They are doing a lot. I've told you, like, this year's budget is going to give them more funding to get more equipment to be able to carry out more of their assignments and their duties. So let's give this government and give the security agencies all the support. And the security agencies also have a woman face where people can be free to talk to you. And at the end of the day, we'll have a Nigeria we are all proud of.
Thank you so much for your thoughts and your contribution this evening. Our time is fast spent, and at this point we have to call it a day. And dear viewers, thank you for watching and sticking around with us. Until we come your way some other time, keep watching Kaftan Television. Ambassador, thank you very much for coming. I do not take your time for granted.
Pleasure is mine.
God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I am Messi Emelite. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.